What's good, brothers and sisters? Welcome back to the Match That Podcast. In the car, waiting to pick up my son. And I have some time, so why not record a little video for y'all. Just came back from Korea a few days ago, came back. Still dealing with that jet lag. Actually, really like jet lag. I like it. I have learned to enjoy it. Those times where you just wake up at 2 a.m., 3 in the morning, and got nothing to do. So it's like, yeah, why not just pray, reflect, think about life, enjoy the time, cuddle up with my wife, all that. I think it's because I have experienced so many times jet lag with children, which is the absolute worst. Having 3 kids that are jet lagged and a few of them sick from their travels, that's like my benchmark, my threshold of what a terrible jet lag experience is. So anything below that, if it's just me, jet lag, I can deal with sickness, I can deal with it all. That is just wonderful in comparison to having an entire family that's jet lagged and or sick. So that's kind of interesting, like perspective change I've had about life, is that if you have an experience that's like the worst experience you could imagine, and then suddenly, because you have that reference point, everything below that is like, this is amazing, right? Travel, for example. I love traveling with my children. Don't get the wrong idea. I love traveling with them. But traveling with young kids and getting stuck in an airport because you missed a flight or because the delay was whatever, the flight was canceled because of weather. I've had that experience too many times. And so now anytime I'm traveling with the children, I'm just like, this is amazing. Without children, when I'm without the children, I'm just like, this is fantastic. I don't care what happens to this flight. I could be stuck in an airport for 24, 48 hours and just be like, this is amazing. This is vacation. So it's an interesting perspective change, that anything difficult in life, if you can imagine and extrapolate this to 10 times worse. Imagine that you were in a situation that was just way more difficult, right? Then suddenly it's like, oh, this isn't that bad. I can find gratitude and peace. I can make peace with this situation, right? So anywho, dealing with that right now, jet lag. And I wanted to share this really insightful experience I had in Korea, talking with the Blue Pilgrims, as I call them. The Blue Pilgrims. There was 420 or so young folks from the North Americas in Korea. And it was interesting because I was preparing my talk to give to them. And I was talking with a bunch of these participants, and I was messaging them because I know a lot of them, asking them, what do you guys want? Like, what do you need if you're preparing for the blessing? What do you need next? Where's your mindset at? What are you focused on right now? And I had several dozens of them said to me the same things. They said, I want to get blessed next year. That's my goal. 2025 is the year to get blessed. And I thought that was interesting. So I made my entire presentation about how to get blessed next year, right? And so I asked them during my presentation, and of course this was like, everyone's like, I want to get blessed next year, et cetera, et cetera. And then I kind of sat down with them during my presentation, and I looked at them really sincerely, and I was like, all right, raise your hand if you are actually going to get blessed next year. Like, I wanted to identify the people that are like, yes, I'm 100% determined. I'm going to make this happen no matter what. And there was about 3 or 4 people that kind of raised their hand, very slowly and shyly. And I was like, okay, interesting, right? So there's this overarching desire people have, this North Star, this light at the end of the tunnel. They're like, I want to get blessed. I desperately want to get blessed. But then when you really break down people's internal thought patterns and turmoils, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear, I realize, that keeps people stuck, stagnant, hinders them from moving forward, which is okay. It's okay. I think it's reasonable to have fear. Fear is okay. It's okay. We all have fear. Fear is given to us, I think, for a reason to keep us alive, essentially, so that we actually will make good, healthy decisions. The problem is when you have fears that hinder you, when you have fears that keep you from getting to where you want to go, that keep you from going in the direction that you want to, and you say you want to get the blessing, you want to receive the blessing, but you can't because X, Y, Z, all right? And so I asked the audience, I was like, all right, tell me why you can't get blessed next year, as I do. And I'm not saying you should. I'm not the guy that's going to say, you should get blessed, you're too old, you shouldn't, you have to, you can't. I'm not that guy. All I'm saying is I want you to tell me why not. Just why not? And so I asked that question to the audience. And when one person raised her hand, she said, I'm too young to get blessed. I was like, okay, how old are you? She's like, I'm 21 years old. I was like, all right, and continued with my presentation. And I was like, well, I was 18 when I got blessed, right? And of course, people are like, oh wow, that's so young, whatever. I didn't think it was young, as I've said before. And another sister raises her hand. She's like, oh, I need more stability in my life. And I was like, okay, interesting. Like, what kind of stability are you talking about? She was like, oh, I'm like financial stability, like career stability. And I was like, all right, well, how much money do you need to be making before you feel ready for the blessing? Do you see where we're going here? It's okay to have fears. It's okay to have reasons. Totally fine, reasonable. But is it fear-based or is it rationale-based? Are there real reasons, or is it just artificial milestones that you've placed because it's the easiest thing to identify as the reason? It's like, this is the reason, and that's why I can, right? And so what I really wanted to do during that talk is I wanted to sit down with all these fine hundreds of brothers and sisters and ask them one by one, like, what is your fear? What is stopping you tomorrow if you were approached by a family for a matching prospect, right? If tomorrow your family was approached, your parents were approached, whoever, your team was approached, why would you say yes and why would you say no? Why or why not? Why not? If mother came into your room, true mother came into your house and was like, hey, I want you to get matched today, right now. Why or why not? Would you say no or yes to that outcome? It's an important mental exercise because it helps you identify the truthful, actual reasons. And then when you find the list of reasons, ask yourself, is this based in reality? Is this true? Is this a reasonable roadblock? And if so, then resolve it, attack it, go for it. Go for it. Figure it out. If you were like, you know what, I don't have any sexual integrity, I'm addicted to X, Y, and Z. Okay, that's reasonable. That is a reasonable reason to not get blessed. But don't sit on your hands and do nothing about it. Join High Noon. Do it. Oh, I don't make any money. Okay? Some might feel like that's a reasonable reason. I don't personally. But if that's a serious consideration for you, a genuine consideration, then attack it. Make some money, my friend. Do it. Go for it. And if you feel all these reasons like, oh, I can't make money because of the economy, okay, well then we get into limiting beliefs because you can make money. You're a reasonable person with reasonable skill sets and a sound mind. You can make money. You can. Oh, I can't because... No, you can't. I don't have a degree. You don't need a degree. Don't need it. Okay? So, if I could sit down with you right now and go through all the reasons why you feel like you can't get blessed. By the way, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't get blessed. That's not what I'm saying. If you can identify the actual reasons and make peace with those and attack those or discard them completely, you resolve it and make every effort you can to resolve that roadblock that you're setting for yourself. Or you completely discard it and say, you know what, never mind. I'm not going to go for it. Because it's not financial stability that makes or breaks a relationship. That's not the thing. That's what everyone will say. Most marriages end in divorce because of marital financial problems. That's what everybody says. Really? World? Financial problems. Money is the root of everyone's divorce? BS. I'm calling BS right now. Totally untrue. It's that people don't know how to communicate, how to love, how to give grace, how to receive grace, how to communicate effectively around the topic of money. And then people are like, oh, well, then it's sex. Sex was the problem in my marriage. Really? Sex? No, it's not sex. People don't know how to have conversations around the topic of sex. So people will point to the easiest thing to blame as the fault of their relationship. It was money. Money was the problem. Why? Because that's the lazy thing to do, is say, oh, it was money, it's money's fault, that's why we ended our relationship. It was our sexual incompatibility, that's why we ended our relationship. Really? No. BS. It's not money. It's not. Because if it was, then everyone that's poor would suffer in their relationship and everyone that's rich would have fantastic marriages. Is that true? Oh, you don't need any wisdom to know that's not true. Not true. It's not financial stability that makes or breaks our relationships. If it were, then 100% of the time that people are broke, they would have suffering relationships. And 100% of the time that people have a lot of money would have successful relationships. Not true. Not nearly true at all. So what is it? What is the one quality, the one thing that you're looking for that will set you on a path, on a journey to have a smashing, radiant, successful marriage and blessing? Matching process, everything you want, family. What is the one thing? What is it? Interesting, right? Have you ever thought about that? Most people will say, well, it's an education. Oh, that's so interesting. But it grinds my gears. I hate when people say this. The higher educated you are, the more successful your relationship will be. No, not true. This is a commonly stated statistic, by the way. Not true. Not true at all. It's a chicken before the egg type of scenario. It's a correlation causation thing. Yeah? So what is it? What is the fundamental thing that allows a relationship to succeed and causes a relationship to fail? I'll give you the simple answer. I want you to answer this for yourself, but I'll tell you the simple answer. All right? Are two individuals willing to give and receive unconditional love? Willing to learn how to give unconditional love and how to receive unconditional love. That is the single quality that will make or break a relationship. Because if you have conditionally loving people that enter a relationship because of XYZ, because my spouse is attractive, because of the way she or he makes me feel, and as soon as you remove that conditional factor, the relationship falls through because there's no foundation that's keeping the relationship together. But if you have two individuals that say, I'm willing to learn how to love unconditionally no matter what, I'm going to make it work. My son is here. I'm going to say good afternoon to him, give him a high five, and then I'll be right back with you.
Bye.
Bye, Kojin.
Kojin, welcome, buddy. High five.
What?
High five.
Hey, you still recording a video?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of recording a video, as I do while I'm waiting for you to come.
Oh.
Do you have anything you want to say to the podcast? Coming to the front as he does.
Yeah.
Are you even allowed to sit in the front?
Yeah.
Are you legally allowed to sit in the front? I don't know.
Andrew sits in the
Who
front.
cares?
Owen starts in the front when he was 8.
Who cares? You know those like videos and podcasts, people are like, this is not legal advice. This is not financial advice. No, I'm not going to be that guy. This is totally legal advice, guys. Just do what you want. I'm just kidding. Don't do what you want. Do what the law, be a law-abiding citizen of your country of choice. And
Ouch.
or a country of not choice. All right, Kojin's here. You can't see him. He's here. Let me just finish this video recording, buddy, and then we'll catch up on how life is, how your day was. So Kojin, I was just talking about the most important thing in a relationship to make it succeed. And it's interesting because everyone will say something. The most important thing is education or financial stability or good parents.
Like that.
And those are all part of it, right? But it's more of a...
Are you even talking to me?
I'm talking to you and them at the same time. So what is the quality of people that make a relationship succeed? It's the ability to learn, the willingness to learn how to love, how to give grace. When your spouse makes a mistake, as they will, big mistakes, little mistakes, are you able to give grace? If you are in a matching process and you're like, I'm going to get blessed soon, within the next year, an important test in your relationship to test if this is an element that y'all have is talk about the honest things in your life, the shadows in your life. Talk about the things that you keep secret, hidden from the world and from everyone around you. Talk about those things. Let it out in the open. Tell your matching prospect about that and see how you both respond and react to that conversation. If you talk about something, a shadow, and your spouse, gives you nothing but, I can't believe you did this, you're a terrible human being, I want a divorce right now, or I want to end this process right now, all I can say is, well, you found the person you shouldn't marry. That's all I can say. But on the other hand, if they're like, you know what, that must be hard, I'm gonna learn how to deal with this, I'm gonna try to understand you as a person, I'm gonna try to give you grace and love you unconditionally, that's a keeper. Man, woman, doesn't matter, both ends, that's a keeper. That is a keeper, my friends. And if you have that conversation and you have that experience, I'm pretty sure you guys will be like, yes, like this is it. This is going to work. That's it. I think that's one of the single most important conversations you have is letting your shadows let loose and talking about it and giving the opportunity for grace and acceptance and love. And that's it. That's it, my friends. One person was asking me recently, how soon into a matching conversation should you talk about your mistakes and shadows, right? And I think it's a good question. I would say that you should give you should give ample opportunities for your matching partner to see you as a person, to get to know you as a person. And I wouldn't start right out the gate, the first conversation, sharing all the things, because they don't know who you are. And when you do share these things, you want them to be able to see you as God sees you, like the person that you are, not for the mistakes you've made, but the human being that you are, the things that you've learned and grown through. And so when you feel like you are at a place where you can share more openly about like who you are and you're able to see each other clearly, like I get where this person is coming from, then on that foundation, I would recommend sharing things from the inside out rather than from the outside in, right? So for an addiction, for example, if you had a past addiction or a current addiction, I would not approach it as like, here is this addiction. This is what happened to me, right? I would approach it from like, for example, it would be like, hey, ever since I was a child, teenagehood, I felt a lot of stress and loneliness, and I didn't have really a way to deal with those emotions, and so I went to this addictive behavior, and it's something that I carried for a long time. And so if you approach it like that, then the partner can start to contextualize and understand clearly the reason for the symptom, because an addiction is a symptom of something deeper, right? It's not like people choose on a day-to-day. To some extent, yes, but especially if somebody's in a matching process and want to get blessed, the chances are that they really don't want this addiction, but they go to it because there's some internal turmoil and pain and wounds that they're dealing with. And so if you approach it from the inside out and talk about the reason, the root cause, and then explain the manifestation of it, then the partner can look at you clearly and be like, oh, like, I understand, because I understand those emotions. I understand the root issue, because we're all dealing with this stuff to some extent, right? Difficult emotions, stress, loneliness, unlimited access to the internet from a young age, right? So you can help them understand you as a person instead of going straight to the symptom or the manifestation of the root cause. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Does that make sense, Koji?
No,
not really.
listening.
He's not listening. Yes, you are. I know you are.
I am?
So, yes, always listening. I know you're always listening. You're good listening. More than you think. So that's it. That's all I wanted to wrap up this conversation with, guys. I hope it was helpful for you. Please identify the specific reasons why you can or can't get blessed and matched, and attack them. Just resolve them. Fears are reasonable. Fears are okay.
Ew.
Fears are reasonable to have. But the question is if you're going to be courageous or you're going to live in cowardice because of those fears. That's the question. And I'm asking you guys to have courage. Have courage to face the shadows and face the demons. And when you do that, you'll experience more of God, more light than you ever thought possible in your life. Isn't that right, buddy? All right, let's sign out for today. Lots of love to you all from me and Kojin. Kojin loves you all more than he knows.
I do?
Yes, you do, my son. I love you more than you know. God bless you. Peace. Peace, peace. Pray for peace in the Middle East. That's it.
It goes east?
East. In the Middle East.
North.
No, pray for peace in the Middle East.
Ah.
Yeah, that's how it goes. All right. Peace.